This is the Connecticut Water Guy Hour. And now here's your host, Paul, your Connecticut Water Guy.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Water Guy Show. I am Paul, your Connecticut Water Guy, and...
Good morning, this is Ethan.
Yep, and we are here to talk about water. I like to say that my filter is taken off of my mouth, but everything else is filtered. But if this is your first time joining us, welcome, and this happy December. Definitely going to be some interesting weather here coming up.
Yeah, it's getting chilly, but also warm at the same time, which is weird.
Yeah, it's one of those. It caught us by surprise.
It did, yeah.
A lot of folks that are listening probably have crawl spaces, and it's one of those things that crawl spaces and hoses. That wasn't even going to be part of the show today.
Before we get into anything, I'm going to move your microphone just a little closer to you.
Oh, right, I'm slouching again?
Oh, no, it's not the slouching. You're good. It's just the microphone was a little too far back. There we go.
How's that?
That is great.
Am I on
Are you
amplification?
You are on amplification.
Fantastic.
Awesome. So, what's on the topic today?
So, before I talk about what was on the topic today, we kind of talked about weather with a little bit of small talk there.
Yeah.
So, I just want to throw some helpful information out there right off the bat.
Absolutely.
And everybody listening probably has a hose spigot on the outside of their house. Some people call it a spigot. Some people call it a hose bib. However you call it.
A faucet.
A faucet. Anything you hook a garden hose up to. Mm-hmm. With these temperatures getting down where they are, we see a whole bunch of damage to people's houses around this time of year because they get caught by surprise.
Absolutely.
You have to go out there and remove the hose, unscrew it.
Really?
You definitely have to do that because here's what happens. A lot of folks are like, well, I don't have to unscrew it because I've got a frost-free hose bib. Well, that's wonderful, but the way those things work is it actually shuts the water off deep inside your crawl space, kind of like it's got a real long plunger arm on it that actually tightens it down. But if you have a hose still attached, all that water that's still trapped in that spigot can't go anywhere and can't drain out like it's designed to do.
Right.
And it will actually freeze and cause that thing to rupture. So that with a hose still attached to it, the next time it thaws out, it's going to start spraying where it cracked, which is usually in your crawl space. So,
yikes!
Yes, if you haven't done this already, make sure you've run around your house and disconnected all of your hoses. That's just a little public service announcement from Paul, the Connecticut Water Guy.
It's very good to know. Thank you, Paul.
You got it. Yeah. So it kind of follows into our seasonal theme here, since we're touching our very first Saturday of December. Mm-hmm. We're going to call this episode Season Savings, Now and in the Future.
Season savings. And we could all use savings this time of the year.
I tell you what, yes. I whenever I go to the grocery store, I get skinnier because I get mad. It just drives me insane how much everything costs. So I just, of course... lose my appetite and just leave because
walk around, seethe for a little bit, and then leave.
See, I look and I imagine eating the $3 apple, and then I don't buy the apple.
$3 apple.
I know.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, that's just nuts.
On the produce.
So everybody is focused on, especially this year, with trying to maximize the amount of dollars that we actually do still have. Trying not to spend too much. And trying to save money, which is kind of almost impossible to spend and save at the same time.
Yeah, true.
But if you do it right, if you make smart investments, so to speak, you can actually start to put money back into your pocket. Now, it's not going to happen instantaneously. This isn't one of those Bitcoin companies that promises you to be a gajillionaire.
One of those Bitcoin ATMs that you see at the mall or something like that.
Yeah, it's usually too good to be true.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny because water can actually save you a bunch of money every day. And it's just a little deposit. It's kind of like a lot of us that are listening have retirement accounts or 401ks. they didn't get to where they are now, regardless of what size it is.
Right.
They didn't get to where they are overnight. It was a very slow, 2, 3, 4, 5%,
Yeah.
putting that number away over
Rome-
years.
Rome was not built in a day.
Rome is definitely not built in a day.
Absolutely.
So basically, water is one of those things that it can save you money. It can save people that you love money, and it can save things that are worth more than money, which we'll talk about in a little bit later. But we blew right into this without me actually introducing how to get in touch with us. So
Yeah.
So
How do we get in touch with you, Paul?
So I'm Paul. I am with the Richmond office of Connecticut Advanced Water Systems, largest Connecticut dealer in the world, and we are proud of it. We have over 12 offices spanning from 2 locations in Virginia all the way down through the Carolinas and into Georgia, as well as an office over in the Denver area. So it makes it interesting when we're trying to show our coverage map, because you got this little spot of Denver in the middle of nowhere. But we do water treatment, and not like municipal, but we do the water as soon as it gets to your house.
Right.
Or business or hotel, like I was just at. Water is pretty much everywhere. But we take care of, no matter what it is, no matter if you've got, we like to say, the little old lady living in Hopewell, all the way up to the house of 15 people, just enjoying life to the fullest.
Absolutely.
So we got systems out there for every budget, for every water type. And we encourage you to look us up. We have a website at connecticutrichmond.com, or you can give us a call, 877-60-WATER. That's 877-609-2837. And we're really up and running with their YouTube channel is getting a lot of traction. That's Connecticut Richmond. Yeah, that's exciting. We're getting ready to actually start to shoot a whole bunch more content. Awesome. So yeah, we've got actually a new member as of about a week and a half ago to our team.
Awesome.
So we're in the process of training him, and he's going to be out in the field, but he's also very good at some IT type things. So
that's good.
He's helping make sure that we're maximizing YouTube, and we've also got our podcast up and running. Thank you for all the great editing that you did on that, Ethan.
Of course.
And so that's out there on pretty much everywhere now. It's uploaded to Spotify and Apple and pretty much everywhere you can find us. Just look for Water Guy. I think it's Water Guy Podcast /radio.
I got you. Hang on one second. This has got to be in my search history. Yeah, there it is. Water Guy Podcast /radio show.
Just Water Guy.
Yep, and you will see a little 3D rendering of Paul giving you a thumbs up.
Yep. We had a little fun with that. But that's how you reach us. And I know this is a weird time of year because people are starting to spend a little bit more time indoors.
Yes.
And in Virginia, it's really hard to spend a lot of time outdoors because it's either ridiculously covered in pollen or humid or freezing or soaking wet. But a lot of folks are home now, and they're kind of trying to get ready for the holidays. So they're doing a lot of cleaning, and when you're cleaning your house for guests, maybe this isn't true for everybody, but for the most part, what we've seen is that people tend to clean with a deeper level of cleaning. If you know you have people coming over that you don't want any judgment.
There's like a sense of urgency.
Yes.
With it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it's kind of like we also do duct cleaning.
Really?
For HVAC, which we haven't even mentioned that before, but and segue onto that thing. But we compare that. We're not. I'll just tell you right now, we are not the cheapest duct cleaning company that's out there, but the difference with that, just like our water, is that you're going to get what you pay for.
Right, of course.
And you can brush your teeth at home. But when you come back from getting your teeth done by the dentist, you can tell there's a difference between what they're able to accomplish and what you were able to accomplish.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how our duct cleaning is. We use only the best equipment. It's kind of funny because we've got cameras that we can go in there and show our customers, look at how nasty this was, and look at it now. It's amazing. But so you can get your. I didn't even plan on talking about this today, but if you have not had your air ducts cleaned in your house or your dryer vent, you definitely need to think about that, because those are two things that they both impact the indoor air quality. And this kind of goes full circle because we got into duct cleaning because it's indoor air quality.
Yeah.
And our main mission in life is to deal with water quality. So you got water and you've got air. So those are two very, very important things that you can handle, that you need to handle in order to be happy and healthy, and things you don't really think about.
Yeah, both under one umbrella.
Under one umbrella, yeah. One call does it all. That's just call Paul. So, and we're always looking for ways of enhancing our experience and getting to that professional from the dentist analogy.
Yeah.
But usually when we say, it's those other guys, the Valpak and the Facebook guys, and yes, I'm ripping on them because they are terrible. One of the things that we're working on is a video that showed, we actually had a sting house, a house that we picked up for one of our employees to actually rent. And it needed some love, and it definitely needed its ducts cleaned. So we were like, we do this. I can very easily go in there and do this the right way, but let's see what the competition does. So we had a couple of competitors. We had a Valpak guy. We had the Facebook company, and both of them did a horrible job. Not only did they do a horrible job, they were cheap. So, of course, everybody's lured in by the, $100 or $200, get your ducts clean. You cannot clean your ducts for $200.
A quality job, at least.
Not unless you live in a tent. Yeah. You don't really, when we go in there, for example, we were in a couple days ago in a large house out in Glen Allen. The guys were there from, I think they arrived at like 9:30. They didn't leave till 4:30. And those are two pros with professional equipment, and she is overjoyed. But it's one of those things, more to come on that. So if you haven't already had your ducts cleaned, or you can't remember the last time, then it's probably too long.
Yeah.
Either way, give us a call. We actually have a separate phone number for that, and I don't know what it is because that wasn't going to be one of the things we talked about. But it's on our website. So go to our website, and you'll be able to find that, and or give us a call, 877-60-WATER. We have another number. It's like 804-84-DUCT-0. I think that's what it is. But we'll verify that before the end of the show here.
Very cool.
So anyway, that was duct cleaning. That's way off target. But back to water, because water is our primary mission. Water is the most used utility. So depending on who you listen to, the latest EPA numbers that we were digging up still say that average person in the United States uses about 88 gallons of water every day. Now, more conservative estimates are really the ones that we use, because we really see more between 50 and 60 gallons a day. Now, it depends on what part of the country you're in. I've got a brother-in-law who lives in California, and when he comes over to visit, when he's shaving or brushing his teeth or whatever, he literally uses a little bit of water, shuts the faucet, does his thing, turns the water back on just briefly to rinse his razor or his toothbrush. not everybody does that. My wife, she just turns that thing on and lets it roll.
Lets it run.
Like she's gonna kill me when she hears this. But yeah, she's not exactly a water conserver. So there's reasons why it ranges anywhere from 50 to 88 gallons a day, because it depends on the person and kind of a lot of what's going on in your life. One of the main things is how much does water cost? So if you have a well, you've effectively got free water. You just have to fix it. You just have to make it, it's not, just because it comes out of a hole in the ground does not mean that it's great. It can be just terrible. So, we can take well water, we could take city water, we could take community well. That's where I was trying to think of my train of thought there. The community wells are typically some of the most expensive water. There's down in Hopewell, they've got some just ridiculous water from what I'm hearing. I'm talking, they may have had some problems with this particular meter, but everybody in the neighborhood is like, yeah, it's pretty expensive. So, because it's basically privatization of water.
Right.
So whenever there's privatization, then of course things become for profit, not just not just trying to skim by with whatever government subsidy you can use. So when you got to make money, you got to charge enough money to actually make it worth being in business. So water, you use a lot of it. It can cost a decent amount, and there's things that the water just, you can cut back on using water, but that's not really the huge money saver. If you get water treatment equipment, you'll actually use maybe a little bit more water because water treatment equipment, of course, needs to clean itself periodically.
Right.
But what you'll usually find is that with better water, you use less of it. You'll take faster showers, more effective showers. So it kind of washes out. It's about a wash, when an even number when it comes to how much are you using versus saving. But yeah, that's kind of one of those interesting things here. I see we're already coming to the end of our first segment here. I can't even believe that.
Time is flying by.
Snuck up on me there. So yeah, that's what happens when Paul gets off track. Don't go anywhere. Come right back. Hang out through the commercials. They're great fun, and we'll be right back here on the Water Guy Show. If you want to go check out our website for the next minute or two, it's ConnecticutRichmond.com, or check out the YouTube channel, ConnecticutRichmond.com, and make sure you kind of save some of these things as favorites in your phone. Give us a like. Subscribe, do all that good stuff that we need to keep this thing rolling. We've got a lot of followers and love what we're doing, but don't go away. We'll be right back. All right. I want to thank you for rejoining the Water Guy Show. This is Paul, the Connecticut Water Guy.
And this is Ethan, the sound guy.
Awesome. Ethan's become like my silent almost partner here, and I greatly appreciate all of his help, because it's very difficult to do a Water Guy show for an hour by yourself.
Well, I appreciate your appreciation, Paul.
So before the break, we were talking about, basically everybody wants to maximize their dollars. We're going into holiday season, and people are looking at gifts and gestures for loved ones and friends and things like that. And it becomes frustrating, believe me. I go through it just like most people do every single year. And gift cards tend to be one of those things that we come back to, because it seems to be pretty easy. It's pretty simple to pick one up, and there's a lot of options out there. We actually have, we actually have real gift cards.
Really?
For Connecticut Advanced Water Systems.
Hey, what season's coming up?
Yep, the holiday season.
The season of giving. Gifts.
Season of giving. Yep. So, yeah, now you've jumped into the next thing, because I wasn't going to talk about the gift card thing, but you know what? We're going to do that. We're going to switch right into that.
Let's talk about the gift card thing, Paul.
Let's do it. All right. So, we're going to jump right on page 2 because we're wild and crazy.
Oh, yeah.
The average U.S. household over the last 5 years has spent during holiday time between $511 and $525 on gifts. That doesn't include things that you would do, let's say costumes or outfits or special makeup or things like that. That is just gifts, including gift cards. So basically about $500 per family is what they kind of have as an average for what they spend on gifts. And we have an actual $250 gift card. That's our popular one right now. It's a bigger one.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that we've actually had quite a few people that called up and wanted to buy a K5 drinking water system for example, one of them bought it for his mother. He got it, found out how awesome it was, and he said, you know what, my mom really needs this.
Yeah.
This is one of those gifts that keeps on giving. And literally.
Yeah.
And whenever he's at her house, he doesn't have to worry about bad water. So
True.
Which it's kind of funny because, again, I'm getting off the tracks here, but it's like all of my relatives, imagine this, all of my relatives have a K5 Connecticut drinking water station.
Mm-hmm.
And they figured out over the years, they're like, you know what? Everywhere you go has a K5. And I said, that's exactly my plan. I need water wherever I go, and I don't want to have to question, is it good? Right. I know it's good.
Right.
So, so now we've all been drinking from the Kool-Aid, which is a terrible thing to say, but yeah, that's you can actually gift a drinking water system, or the $250 gift card is one of those. It's significant.
Yeah.
But it's usually more of a household, like a this goes to the Smith household, like mom and dad, or your sister and her husband or significant other.
It's a gift for the family.
It's a family gift, right? So it kind of knocks out a lot of those Starbucks and the Cheesecake Factory things that they're going to use it, and then in 6 months they probably won't even remember that they used it. But if you get something that's meaningful, like a gift card towards a water project, then literally they're going, for the rest of their life, they're going to thank you or think of you every time they use that.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, so we wanted to throw that out there, and it's pretty cool because I'm working to make sure that all of our offices, because it's kind of a new thing, but I want to make sure that there aren't any hiccups, because sometimes we have folks that live in this area, but they have friends and relatives that live in other areas. Not surprising. And we have over 12 offices. So, and actually, we cover a large amount of territory on the East Coast, Chesapeake all the way down into Georgia, pretty much the entire coast all the way down there.
Right.
And there's a lot of folks that have relatives that are over on the beach somewhere. And so they would probably think, well, where can I use this? It's not like Target, or Home Depot. It's not like you're everywhere.
Right.
Well, we actually have quite a few locations. So this could be a gift that, we would be able to help you in most of the Carolinas, Virginia, Georgia, and Denver.
Denver.
Yep.
Don't forget Denver.
Somebody's got somebody that they love in Denver.
I actually have someone that I know in Denver.
Really?
I did. Yeah.
Thought you were playing along a little too well there, but yeah, no. He's dead serious. So yeah, so it's versatile. We're a big enough company that you've probably never heard of this before, because a lot of these small companies around here are one-man shows.
Right.
But we can take this, and we've got I think the last count was over 150 employees total with
wow.
the whole dealership. But yeah, it's a great way to get somebody started and take that hurdle away from them, because the biggest part about going into a water treatment project is the money.
Right.
Until you understand that it's not a cost, it's an investment. But that $250 is we can do less. I mean, if you want a custom gift card, we can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Some people buy them for, their relatives already have Connecticos, so they use stuff like this for filters and maintenance and things like that.
Right.
But pretty much that gift card would pretty much cover the whole setup and installation of our K5 reverse osmosis unit. So
The $250 gift card?
yeah,
Well.
yep, that'll cover that. So you're pretty much just we can finance the rest, and which is funny because that is on my real thing we're going to talk about here today. I was going to talk about regular water first because it seems like we always talk about drinking water, but let's keep talking about the drinking water because it's kind of related to this gift card.
Yeah.
But we're talking about that takes a big chunk out of it, and then you can finance the rest of it. Even if you don't give somebody this gift card, we have financing options that, interest is stupid right now.
Right.
But
Yeah.
even with a normal rate of interest out there, you can buy with no money down for less than $40 a month.
Right.
You can have your own professional water treatment system for drinking water, or you can even rent it, and they could use the gift card towards
Right.
rental.
And you have talked about rental units before.
Yep, we do have the rentals. Depends on what how it's set up, but yeah, I had a whole list of things here. So the average family of 4 spends anywhere on drinking water between $1,220 and $1,350 a year. So either way you look at that, that's over $100 a month on drinking water.
Yeah.
And that's on bottled water specifically. So everybody's out there spending over $100 a month for bottles. And most of us realize that bottles are probably not the best thing for the environment. And I won't drink out of plastic bottles when it comes to water. I'll sit there and get a splitting headache before I'll do that because it's just I've taken that out of my DNA. I just won't drink out of them.
Yeah.
I'm a scuba diver, and I've seen the oceans just get absolutely jacked up with people that drink a half a bottle and throw it in the waste, and it ends up out there. But that's a whole separate story. I just love water, even though I don't swim. So I
love water.
said that to see if he would have any reaction. There was no reaction there. I guess I can't surprise him anymore. So
I know you too well, Paul.
So drinking water, yeah. Every family that does, family of 4 spends a little more than $100 a month. And we kind of covered this on a couple episodes before, but if you were to buy the water by the case, you're going to spend about $1.67 a gallon. If you've got 4 people and every person drinks a half a gallon a day, which is actually a pretty low number, that means that you're going to be, over the course of the year, you're going to come up with $1,220. And there's actually more studies out there that show that the real number is closer to 1,350. So that's why I like getting a couple of different sources so that I have some different viewpoints there. But no matter how I looked at it, it's over $100 a month.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, yeah. But it is 4 people. And that works out to be about 730 gallons a year. And for something like that, our rental program is about $75 a month. So if you're spending over 100 and for 75, you can do that exact same thing with better results, you're saving $25 a month.
Right.
So $900 a year, actually, yeah, 900. If you were to look at the savings of that, you're looking at renting is going to save you in 10 years about $4,200. That's significant.
Yeah.
If you use the finance option that we have out there with the less than $40 a month payments, you're actually going to save even more, like $5,760 over 10 years. So those are the things you don't think about. Everybody goes and they grab a bottle of water and it's just a bottle of water, but it adds up. It's like the money, the pennies, the dollars that get distributed or put into your 401k. And then you see them 5 years, 10 years later, and you're like, that actually accumulated and turned into something.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, so if you had an extra even if you rented, if you had an extra $4,000 every 10 years put into your 401k, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
So you can't afford to not do this.
Right.
If you're going to live for 5 years from hearing this episode, you've already paid for a K5, whether you have one or not.
Yes.
So go ahead and just let talk to us. We will explain how this works, give you more details on how it saves you money. But I try to break it down. I don't want to sound like the timeshare guy, because that's not at all what this is.
All right.
That's fake stuff. Those are just fake numbers they put down on paper because they're not actual real numbers. These are real numbers because everybody drinks water. Not everybody can go hang out at a timeshare as often as they would like you to.
Of course.
Or you have to in order to make it worthwhile. But when you're talking about something that you actually use every single day of your life, then it's real and the numbers are real. And I invite everybody to just kind of do a calculation, keep track for a month, if it takes that long, of how much you're actually spending. And don't forget about those, running into the gas station and picking up a bottle of water, or ordering a bottle of water with a meal, either at a fast food place or, even real restaurants. You can get bottled water, which we're working to change that in a few of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, see what you're actually spending, and then give us a call at 877-609-2837 or 877-60-WATER, and we will help you with the rest of that. But yeah, so now that took us down the path again of drinking water. Super, super important.
Yes.
And now we were coming back to what we call utility water. So drinking water alone can save you a significant amount. But the rest of the water, I like to say that utility water is the water that your house drinks. And yeah, there's the water that you drink, and then there's the water your house drinks.
Yeah.
And your house likes to stay clean and healthy. And you use this water for so many things: bathing, washing dishes, laundry, rinsing stuff, drinking, flushing. The average, we kind of talked about that before. If the average person is using 50 to 60 gallons per day, then your one person is going to use about 20,000 gallons a year. That's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and it made me think, the first thing that I thought when I saw 20,000 gallons, I'm like, I need to relate this to something. A swimming pool. Right?
Yes.
So, yeah, that's actually a horrible thing to do, because a typical in-ground pool at somebody's house holds between 18 and 20,000 gallons. That's the typical one. Now, a pool, that's basically all the water that somebody would use all year, just in one pool. Now, of course, there's bigger pools. I think I looked up that the true Olympic swimming pool holds 660,000 gallons of water.
It's a ridiculous amount of water.
Yeah, it's just like it's like an entire farm. It's crazy. But 20,000 gallons a year per person. So if there's two people in the house, you're using 40,000 gallons. Your plumbing system is the hardest working thing in your entire house, and small changes can make a significant impact over time when you give your house better water. So mostly, 85% of homes in the United States have hard water as a problem, but only 25% of them have a water softener. So most of the people I don't know if they just don't know that they have a problem, or I just don't know. I grew up I shouldn't go too terribly personal here, but I grew up on a farm in Iowa.
Wow.
We had a deep well. We thought it was the greatest water in the world because it came from a well. It was ridiculously cold, and you just drank out of the hose as soon as it stopped running hot and didn't smell like rubber anymore. But yeah, those were the early days there.
Oh yeah.
But we didn't have anything for water treatment because we didn't know. We didn't know any better.
Right.
And yeah, that's just weird that not too many people actually have a softener. Now, softeners are not free. You can't just go down and just pick one up for free at the local I want to help you store. They do cost money, and the better that they are, the more efficient that they are, and the longer that they're going to last, of course, the more they're going to cost. If you want cheap, there's a million things out there on the internet that claim to go ahead and fix your water, and some of them aren't even that cheap. But you can get burned. Don't fall into the trap that it must work because it costs $2,500 online.
The magic wire.
The magic wire. Yep, that's one of those. That's a whole. Ugh, that guy sends the hairs in the back of my neck.
Paul's getting mad.
Yeah, I just when somebody doesn't even own a test kit, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about more of that after this next break. Now, please don't go away. We are going to be right back, I promise. This is Paul, the Connecticut water guy, and I look forward to continuing our story in a couple of minutes here. So check us out online or give us a call, ConnecticutRichmond.com or 877-60-WATER. Welcome back to the final segment of today's episode, Season Savings, now and in the future.
Season savings.
Yeah, titling episodes is my forte. But before that final break there, we were talking about how water can make a huge impact on your life, and it can actually save you a bunch of money. And if you're one of the 85% of homes in the United States that actually has hard water, you definitely need to, number one, make sure that it's actually working. The only way that can be seen is by testing the water. That's something we specialize in. But if it's working, then you're probably already seeing the benefits of having a water softener. And there's other things in the water, but for the purposes of trying to keep it simple and easy, we're just going to talk about the benefits of a softener, which is the most popular thing out there. So one of the first big things, soft water can actually save you a bunch of energy, typically between 10 and 20% of your water heating bill can be saved if the water is soft. And the good way to think about it is that with hard water, you've got the water, but you've also got a bunch of other things in the water, calcium and things that kind of like rocks. And for you to heat the water up, you've got to heat not only the water, but you got to heat all the rocks.
Right.
So if all the rocks aren't in the water, then your water heats a lot faster, which saves you a bunch of energy.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and it actually can. It's not like a mind-blowing savings, but 10 to 20% of your water heating bill, which typical water heating bill is about 16% of your total utility bill. So if your total utility bill, like gas, electric, whatever, totals up to, let's say, $250, then you've got about 40 of that is going to be due to the water heater. That's about 16%.
Right.
And if you can save 10 to 20%, you'll save about $8 a month. Doesn't sound like a whole bunch of money. I mean, $8, I can't even go to Bojangles and get a chicken biscuit anymore without still pulling out some more money. But over the course of a year, that's almost $100. So you got to look at this. This is the big picture.
Long term.
Long term.
Long term.
Yep. So there's your first $100 a year. So what I'm trying to do today is I'm going to try to show you how much money per year better water can actually save you. So that you don't have to look at it as a cost. I don't want to spend the money to get a water treatment system. I want to invest in a water treatment system because it's going to start paying me back. And the benefits are huge when that can't even really be put on paper, but we'll talk some of that in a little bit also. Cleaners. It's amazing to me. This is actually one of those things that stuck in my head. I had this other company come out years ago before I bought my Connecticut, and they try to do the dog and pony show, the ShamWow type thing, and I got to give it to them. You know, when your product isn't the best, you got to do whatever you can to make the show so entertaining that you forget that it's really not the best.
Right.
And one of the things that they did was to demonstrate how good good water cleans. And it's one of those things I never really thought of before, but thought my wife was going to tear this guy's face off, actually. So he had this little, we have stainless steel refrigerator, and he said, "Hey, do we have any butter?" And yeah, of course, most people have a butter somewhere.
Right.
So we pulled some butter out of the fridge, and he took a little knife and snipped off a little, one of those little dollops or whatever they call them. And we're watching him like, okay, what's he going to do? What is he doing with this butter? We watched him take his fingers, and he picked up the butter, and he started smearing it all over my refrigerator. I know. Your look was nothing compared to what my wife was just like. It was a brand new refrigerator too.
No.
And we don't have kids, we don't have pets, so
right.
It was like an immaculate fridge to begin with for the most part. Maybe a couple of fingerprints, things like that. Now it had one or two fingerprints, and it was smeared with butter. And he said, "All right, now how would you clean this up if this happened?" And my wife said, "The more important question is, how are you going to clean this up? Because this wouldn't happen with us." I remember it like it was yesterday, even though it was like 10 years ago. And this is where the magic happened, because he had a spray bottle, dumps it out, and he's to make sure there wasn't any like magical spray cleaner or anything in there. And he filled it. He was running he made his soft water, and filled this thing back up. Now, I take it one step further when I'm kind of using the moral of that story. But basically, I will take the distilled water, not distilled, but the purified water out of the K5, which is our reverse osmosis unit, and I'll do the same thing with a spray bottle at my own house as my own cleaner, because purified, perfect water even goes one step further than soft water. But soft water is an amazing cleaner. Purified water is an amazing cleaner on steroids, because it's absolutely pure. It will not leave any spots, even if there's anything left. But he took this water and he put it in the spray bottle, swished around a little bit in his mouth, just to let us know that this was the real deal. He didn't have any secret powder in there. And just sprayed the fridge just lightly, misted it, and took two of my paper towels and he wiped off the fridge. And I'll tell you what, it was the most amazing thing, because I was expecting there to be a whole bunch of greasy residue, and no, it was clean. It was just as clean as if I'd have taken that expensive cleaner that's underneath the kitchen sink and tried to do the exact same thing. The same cleaner that costs about $4 for every time, at least $4 now. I don't even know, because I don't pay attention to that, because I don't use cleaners hardly ever.
Right.
So you can use your own water as cleaners and save all of the money on cleaning supplies. Really, around my house, I don't have to worry anything with acids in it. I don't have to worry about that. I don't need to worry about even really toilet bowl cleaning.
Oh yeah, because you won't have any
because
rings or anything.
Right, because I've got a softener, of course, and I've actually got something else. There's a small trace amounts of silica even in the Henrico County water that we have, and just a little tiny bit. When your water is so good, you start to notice any little imperfections.
Right.
So I've got it all. It's all tricked out. So the house stays clean because I don't have a lot of time. This is cat out of the bag time. This is a pre-recorded show tonight, and I've been
Yes.
running since about 4 a.m. because I had to run up to DC to put in a whole system in a hotel.
You are stronger than I am, Paul.
So I don't have a lot of time to clean, not at my own house. But time, I have so much extra time back that it's one of those things you don't realize it until you actually don't have to spend, hours scrubbing and using a pumice stone in your toilet,
Right.
or just scrubbing the heck out of you got muriatic acid or vinegar or whatever else you're putting in there. Just get better water. It'll make your life so much easier. But cleaners are actually up nationwide about 34% since pre-COVID times, which says that pretty much everybody is a little bit more fanatical about making sure that things are clean.
Yeah.
So cleaning is up. They're doing a great job marketing that stuff. And this was actually from Statista in 2020 where they came up with that number. And the average American, each one, spends about $170 a year on cleaning products, like cleaners, like 409. That's so terrible because I haven't had to buy them in so long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what cleaners are anymore, like by brand name, because I use our water for everything from cleaning countertops. I've got granite countertops. You will swear that I've got the real deal granite cleaner in that bottle.
Wow.
I've got one of those glass cooktops that if you've got one of those, you know what I'm talking about. It's it's one little splatter and it just messes the whole look of the whole thing up.
Dries into the glass. And
Oh
everything.
yeah, it's like
Yep.
it's like perma goo. I can go in there, spray it down with the we call it the RO water, the reverse osmosis. Spray it down with that stuff, and it will clean up just like the high dollar cleaners.
Wow.
So it's crazy, but basically, if you got two people in the house, you're going to spend about $340 a year, and if you're looking, kind of going down the list on just general cleaning products, you're going to save 50 to 75%. And I would argue that it's probably a lot higher than that.
Yeah, probably.
Because I've eliminated 90% of cleaners. I really have, other than a little bit of bleach, just for disinfectant purposes.
Right.
Everything is water. And the house is, it's amazing when you see it work. So if you're going to save 50 to 75% going low and you're spending about $500 a year, that means that you're going to save about $250 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got personal care items. You got about 30 to 50% of those that you won't need if you have better water. And the average American uses about the average household uses about $628 a year in personal care stuff. I'm talking like lotions and shampoos and conditioners and things like that.
Right.
But I think that 628 for the household, I think that might be low.
A low estimation.
Yeah, because that's like it's like basically $50 a month, right?
Right. Yeah.
So $50 a month. My wife has long hair.
Yeah.
Her shampoos. I don't. She won't even tell me how much they cost. It's just ridiculous.
I know exactly how much my wife's shampoos cost because I use the same kind.
Oh.
Yes.
And she makes you buy them occasionally.
I mean, they work very well.
Okay.
They work very well. So
you know how much? Have you ever bought them?
Yeah.
How much
yeah.
are they?
Oh my goodness.
I'm putting them on the spot.
Yeah. Like the combo kit for the really nice shampoo and conditioner, the individual bottles is like $40.
That's the exact number I was thinking in my head. $40 is what my wife told me.
Yep.
So, yeah, and probably in a course of a month, probably do go through a bottle of that stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe that is a good one. So personal care can save you over $300 a year. We're just going to say $300. So far you're saving $100 on water heating. You're saving about $250 on cleaning products. saving another $300 on personal care. So you're at $650 a year that you're going to save by having better water. And then we got laundry. You're going to actually be able to cut back about 75% on detergents, and the average, and I think this is ridiculously low, but the average is that the average house spends about $150 a year on detergent, like laundry detergent stuff, and you drop that down to about $40. So that's another 110 that you can tally up to your annual savings from better water. Oh, and there is something I would like to throw in there, that you don't need all of these fancy things when you're doing laundry in better water. One of the things that you don't need is dryer sheets or fabric softener.
I was about to say, I can imagine you wouldn't need fabric softener.
You don't. No, you don't at all, actually. I don't remember how many years ago we finally used up the Costco size, dryer sheets or whatever those things were. Because when you got better water, you don't have the calcium in the water that's causing your clothes to be, crunchy and get all chopped up. Better, cleaner laundry. There was an ad, and it's good that I can't remember the name, but they were talking about how they wanted to play detective because their child had some skin irritation.
Right.
And they were trying to figure out where it was coming from, and they said, "Oh, it's our detergent for doing laundry." And I'm sitting there like yelling at the radio, like, "No, it's not your detergent, it's your water." So don't fall into that trap of getting the dye-free detergents and paying all that money for this almost organic quality.
Sensitive skin.
Yeah, they get you with that because you don't need that, really. If you have better water, and everybody that's ever worked for me has, most of them are all still here, because once you understand what better water really means, it's life-changing.
Right.
But you'll see psoriasis, dry skin, all sorts of skin ailments, which we covered on a previous episode, but they will magically, in many cases, be gone entirely or become significantly better. So there's that. And that I actually cover that in, I'll cover it now. The skin health thing, doctor visits. You got prescriptions. So I have one of my favorite customers. He was telling me that 5 minutes after getting out of the shower, he looks like a dead man. Those were his words, not mine. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
He had an extreme dermatitis type situation. And his skin would dry out almost immediately.
Right.
So long story short, water softener fixes, he's 80% better. And he used to tell me the amount of money that he had to spend on prescriptions, like lotions and creams and doctor visits and all the stuff that goes along with it. The $375 a year savings on skin health, it probably is a pretty low number for a lot of people, but it's an average. And then we talked about laundry and clothing, and I said you don't have calcium in there chopping everything up, causing your clothes to literally get chopped into little pieces.
All right.
So better water will actually make your clothing last about 30% longer. So your clothing budget goes further, gives you another $200 a year.
Wow.
And then your repairs to plumbing will save you about $90 a year. It's not gonna, you're not gonna buy a house out of what you're gonna save on that, but you'll be able to keep the house that you've got,
of course, without
worrying about calcium destroying valves and things that you're gonna have to hire a professional plumber to come in and fix.
So I'd say I bet it prevents the how soon any sort of plumbing issues occur.
Yeah. Well, exactly. It's the water your house is drinking, so it's your house's health. So it kind of goes along with that. And then the last thing I had was that appliances, they last 30% longer. It's kind of related to the repairs thing. And the average household pays about $463 a year towards appliances. You can't get too much for $463, but every like 3 years you might drop $1,200.
Right.
So on average, you'll save about $140 on appliances every single year. So that's a grand total of $1,265 a year, which is over $100 a month.
Wow.
And if we're excluding drinking water, for about $100 a month, no money down, you can have a water treatment system. So if I haven't done anything today but just kind of talk about nerd out with some numbers, you can own the best of the best for what you're already wasting.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to spend anything. You're just going to shift money that you're already spending over to something else. But we would love to talk to you in a lot more detail at 877-60-WATER or visit us online at ConnecticutRichmond.com. Check out our Google reviews. We're over 200 perfect reviews at this point, and the team is even more committed every single day to delivering the best experience to everybody. So we look forward to welcoming you into the family, and we will catch you next week on The Water Guy Show. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Connecticut Water Guy Hour. Join us next week for another edition with Paul, your Connecticut Water Guy. Opinions expressed on the program may not necessarily reflect the views of station management and ownership. Portions per recording.